So if y'all would stand with me for the pledge. Remain standing, please, for our invocation.
Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, God, we thank you for this day, Lord, and the many blessings you've given us. Lord, most of all, the gift of your Son, the salvation you brought with you. Lord, I just pray that you will just give wisdom and discernment to those who are making decisions tonight. Decisions be pleasing unto you. God, I pray that you be with our emergency services, continue to protect them, keep them safe. Lord, be with our community. Just pray that we will always look to you for guidance. And Lord, as always, may your name be glorified in all circumstances. We love you and thank you in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. First off, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight for whatever reason. We're live streaming, so thank you for whoever's tuning in. I think this is our third month that's trying to live stream. The first month didn't go so well, second was better, so hopefully tonight we'll have all the bugs ironed out. So thank you so much for being here. If you can look at the announcements, council and staff, of the upcoming events. I do have one to add. Kathy Loveday reminded me that Wednesday morning will be business before hours at 7:30 at the chamber office, correct? So if we can make that adjustment there. And council staff, do you have any other additions or subtractions off of here? None being, we'll. Yes, ma'am.
I would like to remove item number 6, please.
Okay. So that'll be an adjustment to the agenda. So we'll do item number 6. All right. Okey-doke. Thank you, ma'am. So being none signed up for public comment, we'll forego reading all of the rules there, if that's okay.
I was gonna see if we could add a closed session at the end.
Another adjustment.
Oh, another closed session.
Yes, sir. General Statute 143-318.11A5 for the acquisition of real property.
I know, when we get to that point, I'll let you read that number again.
Sounds good. I'm ready.
All right. So, is there anything that council would like to pull off or add to the consent agenda other than what Councilman Lane has done? Adjustments to the agenda, okay. I thought that was what we just did. Okay, is there any adjustments to the agenda? I guess that's what Councilman Lane just did, correct?
Yes, sir.
And Nicole.
And Nicole.
And Nicole.
Removing item 6.
I'll entertain a motion to accept that.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries unanimous. Thank you. Okay, so now we'll move on to consent agenda. Is there anything council would like to add? Okay, I just did public comment. I
Okay.
deleted that.
Okay.
We didn't have anybody sign up,
Okay.
so I just said we'll forego that. So is there anything you'd like to take off or add on to the consent agenda?
No.
Nope.
I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Okay,
Second.
okay, so Terry and Jane. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimous.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as modified. Is that what you want?
Okay. So approve the consent agenda as modified, and Jane, you still want to second that?
Yeah, I'll
Okay,
second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Carries,
Thank you.
carries unanimous. Thank you. Okay, at this time, we will introduce new employees. Chief, you going to introduce our new
Well,
employee?
we got one, the other one couldn't make it.
Yep.
But, Damian Sertall, I don't know if I butchered that name bad, I'm getting better with it, but, glad to have him on board full-time. He's, of course, y'all came to the swearing in the other day. He was, called him in BLET, he was class president in BLET.
Whoa, way to go.
So I think he'll do us a tremendous job.
Fantastic. Welcome aboard. I pronounced it the other day, Mello. They was calling him Mello Sertall. Nice to have you.
That was his nickname in BLET.
Oh.
Everybody called him that.
That's fantastic. Thank you. We're welcome aboard.
And it was great seeing that was your son that pinned you, wasn't it? Yeah, that was
Yeah, he was
very
cute.
touching.
Council, any other council members like to make a statement about this?
Sorry.
Well, I'm sorry that I didn't get to be there, but I congratulate you and look forward to a long career with us.
Yeah, and as well, I was not able to make it, but we're glad to have you on the force.
Yep.
We've been working for a while at this, and I'm glad that we're right at being fully staffed. So you're the missing puzzle piece. So we're glad to have you here. Yes, sir.
We swore in 3 others over there the other day, but they had already come, hadn't they, when they were going into training? So,
Yeah, 2 of them had already, back when we did the Prince program, they were part of the Prince program.
then 1 part-time. So for public to know, we've got 4 new police officers, and we're really happy about that. So, thank you, Chief. This time, this is one of the fun parts about this job is Employee of the Quarter. And I'm going to ask Mr. Elijah Boo to come up here. Elijah, how long have you been with the city now?
About a year and a half.
A year and a half. This young man has hit the ground running. So I'll read y'all his, Miss O'Brien is the one that recommended him. And let me see, I think this says the same thing, certificate, yes, okay. Mr. Elijah Boo, she said, I'd like to nominate Elijah Boo for Employee of the Quarter. Elijah was recently received designation as a certified playground safety inspector, and certification as an underground storage tank primary operator. He also, along with being public works staff, has been working diligently to clean up around City Hall, city buildings, also running the pickup route for brush and yard carts, and working with building maintenance. I don't know what else he does in his spare time, but he's been working with management on the budget for the fiscal year 24-25, is learning all aspects of public works. With all this workload, he is continuing to pursue his education and will receive an associate's degree in May. Wow. Elijah works hard every day with a positive attitude and is willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done correctly and timely. I know I worked with him all day in the rain, just about in the rain, when we were doing our Christmas tree lighting, and he was up on ladders, and anything you'd ask him to do, he was willing to do it. And I see him around town, and he was in my neighborhood today picking up brush, and he's everywhere. He's like the Energizer Bunny, everywhere. And here is your certificate of appreciation. This certificate is to award Elijah Boo in recognition of the valuable contributions to the City of King and being nominated for the Employee of the Quarter, first quarter of 2024 by your peers. I think anytime you get an award by your peers, that means a lot. Congratulations. Thank you. And this is a little token for you to enjoy. And here's you a real nice hoodie. And that's tell you what, I'm gonna give you a copy of the letter, just in case you didn't have it, that Ms. O'Brien presented for you. Congratulations. Elijah, how old are you? 19 years old. Isn't that amazing? I told him he could be retired when I would just get married, so. Oh, boy. Okay, council, we're on number 4, public hearing on text amendment to the City of King, number 4. I guess, John, you've got this one, don't you?
This request is being made by the City of King Planning Inspection Staff to review and approve North Carolina state revisions to GS 160D that have an impact on the city's code of codified ordinances. Affected chapters are 6, Building and Building Regulations, Chapter 22, Section 22-40A, Chapter 26, Subdivisions, and Chapter 32, Zoning. Amendments are being adopted as ordinance number 2024-03. So 160D came about, it's state mandated changes that affect our ordinance, so it's all text changes in there. The only thing that's not affected by 160D is page 35, where it states, section 22-40, regular meetings for the planning board are held the 4th Monday of each month at 7 p.m. We need to change it to 6 p.m. But other than that, it's just to stay in line with what's mandated by the state. The planning board voted unanimously to suggest approval of ordinance number 2024-03 to the city council last Monday.
Council, if you want him to go through all of these pages, he went through it with the planning board. Yes, ma'am.
Could you open that public hearing and close it?
Oh, I'm sorry. I need to open that for a public hearing. Apologize for that. Council, at this time, I'll entertain if any of you have a question. We'll start with you, Mr. Bowl. Have any questions? Oh, need to close it first. I'm sorry. Because we didn't have any public comment on that one. Okay, at this time, I'll ask if anybody has any questions.
No, I do not have any at this time.
Mayor Pro Tem?
No, these are state mandated ordinances, and our city planning board, made their recommendation, and, I will go with that.
Okay. Councilman,
Echo James' comments on that.
okay, Mr. McLean?
It's the least fun I've ever had reading an agenda.
Okay, at this time, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion, we adopt the proposed text amendment of Chapter 6, Chapter 26, and Chapter 32 with amendments being adopted as ordinance number 2024-03.
Okay, do I hear a
Second.
second? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimous. Thank you, council. Okay, council, we're on number 5, presentation of audit and financial statements. I think maybe Mr. Hoyle or Mr. Pendry has that. Good afternoon, sir.
Okay, good evening to everybody. My name's Carol Hoyle, and I've got Monty Pendry with me. We are two of the CPAs with Gibson and Company, PA, out of Winston-Salem. And first off, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to do your audit here. We certainly appreciate that and look forward to doing it in the future. I'd like to thank Susan O'Brien for working diligently with Monty on the report and ending up with an excellent report. It's 123 pages long. Appreciate all your help on everything. The report for the year ended June 30th, 2023 has been submitted to the LGC and has been reviewed and approved. So everything's taken care of on that. Actually, we have even been paid by the city of King already. We appreciate that. There was one financial performance indicator, and that we have drafted a letter that will need to be signed by half of the board that is basically related to the timing of when we sent the report in, and that goes back to a change of staff that we had at our audit firm. It's no problem, but we'll have a letter drafted that Susan will get the board members to sign and the town manager, and she will sign, and we'll send that in to LGC. And that'll finalize everything for year ended June 30th, 2023 with the LGC. I'm now going to go through a brief overview of the financial statement. It's 123 pages long, so we won't hit every page. I'll hit the highlights on the report, and so I don't keep you here all night going through 123 pages. It was a well put together report. Like I said, it's 123 pages long. The audit has a clean opinion, which we refer to as an unmodified opinion. You can find that on page 8. I don't know if you want to flip to any of these pages or not, but our opinion is on page 8, clean opinion. There were no reportable budgetary violations or instances of non-compliance. We did have to do a single audit because of expenditures over $500,000 at the state level. Everything was good on that. That schedule of expenditures of federal and state awards, which is referred to as a CFA schedule, you can find that on page 118 near the back of the report. And there were, this included $566,000 in federal grant expenditures that were mainly coming from the American Rescue Act, and $965,000 in state and local grant expenditures that was mainly coming from the state capital infrastructure funds of $701,000 for infrastructure, and PAL bill of $171,000. That's reflected on that page 118 CFA schedule. There were no compliance issues found during the single audit, so everything was good. Moving to governmental funds excluding water and sewer, if you want to turn to Exhibit 3, page 22. The total unrestricted cash and cash equivalents was $7.76 million, and that increased from the prior year by $784,000. A large amount of the expenditures during the year were covered by American Rescue Act funding of $556,000, and restricted cash and cash equivalents decreased by $122,000. So you had an improvement in the cash position of $784,000 in the unrestricted cash. Like I said, a lot of that came from the American Rescue Act funding of $556,000 that covered some of your expenditures. The total governmental funds assets were $6.97 million, and that's up $1.2 million from the year before. This increase includes approximately $540,000 coming from the American Rescue Plan funds, and the total $6.97 million assets has $1.3 million of that is related to the American Rescue Program Plan funds. The governmental funds liabilities were only $35,000, excluding unearned revenue of $1.76 million, which is mainly related to unearned American Rescue Plan funds of $1.325 million. The total governmental fund balance was $5.1 million, and $3.18 million of that is unassigned. I know I may be moving fast, and you may not be finding some of these numbers, but, you know, when we get to the end, if, you know, you have any questions, you can submit them to Susan, and we can get back to you if you have any questions. It's a lot in a 123-page report. So, Exhibit 4, if you want to turn to page 24, you'll find Exhibit 4, and that's moving into the governmental fund revenues and expenses. And the governmental fund revenues were $9.3 million, which was up $134,000 from the year before. And that is largely due to improved investment earnings that everybody's seeing now, better interest on your money. On the expense side, the expenses were $9.2 million, and there was a net positive change in the fund balance of $204,000. And this, here again, is largely due to the American Rescue Plan funding. The change in the net position of the governmental activities was a positive $365,000. And that's on the governmental funds. And now moving to the proprietary funds, the water and sewer fund. If you go to Exhibit 6, page 28, the water and sewer fund total assets were $35.6 million, and that's down mainly due to depreciation. It's down $123,000 from the year before. The liabilities for accounts payable and accrued liabilities were $127,000. That's up $33,000 from the year before. The unrestricted fund balance in the water and sewer fund was $7.8 million, and that's up $128,000. Unrestricted fund balance. And then if you want to turn on over to Exhibit 7, page 29, the water and sewer fund total operating revenues were $7 million, slightly over it. This is up $381,000 from the prior year. The earnings on the investments were $146,000, which is up $142,000 from the year before. I think that was like $4,000 a year before. And like I said, everybody's seeing good earnings on their investments now. Expenditures were $6.7 million. This is up $609,000. Operating income was $337,000, revenues minus expenses, and that's down $228,000 from the year before. There were American Rescue Plan funds transferred into the water and sewer fund of $63,000. The total net position increased in the water and sewer fund by $556,000 to a total of $25.77 million. And that covers the financial areas that I really want to touch on with the cash and cash equivalent improvements, as well as overall improvements in the city of King financial situation. Everything looks very strong at June 30th, 2023. I'd like to thank you for your time, and once again, thank you for the opportunity to perform the audits for City of King. And if you have any questions, we'll try to answer those at this time with Susan's assistance, if she would. Or you can submit questions to her and we can get back to you if we need to.
Let's first off see if we have any questions. We'll start off with you, Councilman Lane.
I do not.
Council Lane? No questions?
A lot to absorb. We may have questions later on.
Oh, yeah, that's, wow. Mr. Hoyle, we really do appreciate you coming and presenting all of this, and I know we thank Ms. O'Brien for all of her hard work. We get a good, usually we always get a good report when she takes control of it, and we do appreciate that, so. Council, at this time, I will entertain a motion to accept as presented.
I acknowledge receipt of these audited financial statements.
Second?
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimous. Thank you, council. We are going to skip over number 6 and move right on to number 7. Council, number 7 is an amendment to special event street closing ordinance 2024-02.01. I think City Clerk Nicole Branshaw, you have this one for us?
Yes, sir. I was contacted by the chamber, and they had just asked if we could add a rain date to the Meet Me on Main event, just in case that there was an event for rain. They would just like to add so their event is planned for April 27th. They would just like to add Saturday, May 4th as a rain date, which is just the following Saturday. And so I will have to amend the ordinance to add that. I have already sent in this ordinance to the NCDOT for approval, because we needed to get this in for the Feed Stokes event. But I did let them know that an amendment was coming, as long as it was approved, and they didn't see any problems, so.
Okay. Any council have any questions,
None.
concerns?
I do, maybe I
Yes,
missed it.
ma'am.
So is the Meet Me on Main and the 5K run is part of that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, that's all
okay.
one event.
I don't have any other questions.
They added that 5K a couple years ago, I think, to the,
I think I was thinking about that other one. What is it that's coming up? Some
The Feed Stokes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, bless you.
yeah, that's Feed Stokes.
okay.
Half marathon Feed Stokes 5K.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Okay, council, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the amendment of special event street closures O-2024-02.01.
Okay, do I hear a
Second.
second? Okay, Tyler. All in favor, say aye.
Uh-huh.
Opposed? Carries unanimous. Thank you, council. Moving to number 8, consideration of approval to construct a prefabricated garage. I think Chief Robertson has this for us.
Yes, sir. We'll hand out one thing to everybody real quick.
Thank
Right
you.
back on that, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Mayor and council, the Stokes County Fire and Rescue Association was awarded a $450,000 grant by Senator Joyce Krobick as part of the state budget. Obviously, we have a biennial budget, but then they have to do something in between that, so they adjust and amend the budget. And she was able to get the grant money for the Fire and Rescue Association. This is very similar to the grant monies that she was able to get through the state budget that we're currently using throughout the county, money here in the city. The fire departments received money last year. Each municipality in the county received money. So this is the similar format with the same scope of work. The Fire and Rescue Association met, and it was a consensus vote, a unanimous vote to divide the money between all the departments that are part of the Fire and Rescue Association, which equated to each department receiving $30,000. With our grant money, we are proposing the construction of a prefabricated garage to be put on our property. The handout I provided you gives you a just snapshot, an idea of what we're looking at, and then on the reverse side will be the location in the shaded red area. In the budget this year, we were awarded $10,000 for a carport, basically to put some of the equipment that we have to store outside because we don't have the room to put in the building to get it out of the weather a little bit. With the award of this grant, we are presenting to you that we use the grant money, the $10,000 we have already awarded in the budget, and then use approximately $20,000 out of our dedicated fire department fund, reserve fund. We call it the 1 cent fund. Use money out of that way it doesn't affect the overall general fund. It's fire tax money that we set aside to be used by the fire department. I say around $20,000. I mean, we've all done enough projects in this time that money's kind of volatile. We don't have any formal quotes yet because we wanted to make sure that the project was going to be awarded, but we did a lot of informal conversations to get this price. And we think we'd be very close to that, and we'd work and strive to stay within that parameters. We're looking at 2 to 3 bays, so it can house a couple of our trailers and a couple of our vehicles. We also are looking to put some sturdy shelving units. Home Depot sells a great shelving unit, Husky brand, to put some equipment in there. We're also looking to have power and a little bit of climate control to the building to help offset what the equipment that'll be in there. We are strapped for space in the building. We have grown, but the building footprint hasn't grown. So we're looking to maximize the land that we have currently, and that with the resource and money. So in a way, we can almost look at this like a 50-50 matching grant at this point of what we're asking for. We do want to finish up the other grant. The county has asked that we finish up the current grant, which we're actively involved in, getting that wrapped up by the June 30th deadline, and we have no problems. But they did ask that before we started another grant, they wanted to close out the current grant. So majority of the work, I imagine, if this was approved, would be started later toward this budget year or the first part of the next budget year. But that's a good synopsis of what we're proposing, and I'll be glad to answer any questions y'all may have.
Okay. Council Lady Fowler, start off with you if you have any questions.
No, I don't. Just one for Susan. So they're wanting to use their fire department dedicated fund around $20,000, and that should be fine.
Oh, yeah, we have plenty of money there.
Okay.
And that's kind of why, like I said, we don't have firm quotes, so we're going to try our best to stay around. But I've talked to Ms. O'Brien, and that fund is secure if we needed a little extra, and hopefully we won't. But.
Okay. That's the only question I have.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem.
I actually had the same question about the dedicated funds. I wanted to make sure that you had a little slush fund in case you needed, because none of these actually end up the exact amount.
Right,
that you're gonna need.
Yeah.
So there is, okay.
Yes.
Very good to know.
Yeah. I hope not to come back and ask for it.
This
but
looks like a very nice building.
yeah, and that, like I said, that's a rough idea of what we're looking at. I just grabbed something off the internet because we haven't talked to companies or anything like that.
And you will get 3 bids on it.
Yeah, we'll do whatever is
Okay.
required by statute to
Okay.
get, for the bidding process. We'll follow state statute on bidding requirements for this project.
Well, I for one will never turn a grant down, so
Yeah.
if I can help it.
Councilman Bowles?
Maybe my only question, I don't, as far as, does it affect y'all's parking, at all?
We were gonna use up some parking let me back up. There's vehicles currently sitting in the parking spots.
Okay.
We're just gonna kinda enclose it. It may encroach a little bit, but where we're gonna stick in that corner, it won't affect the drainage of the property, and it won't affect anything. And we've got it, positioned, so that, the trailers that are backed in there, they can pull straight out, right onto the road. So we will lose officially public parking spots, but they're fire department vehicles currently sitting them in it anyway.
Councilman Lane?
Yes, sir. I think they've asked all my questions.
All right. The picture you've got, drawn here.
Sure.
In the parking lot.
Uh-huh.
Is that gonna be sitting on, existing asphalt?
It's sitting on existing asphalt,
So you
yeah,
won't
against the
have
curb and gutter.
You won't have to be putting a floor in
I
that,
don't 100% know. We would have to, if anything, I don't know if we may not have to raise it a little bit just to prevent water running underneath it. Like maybe have some curb or guttering around that, just so we don't get water running into the building. It may need a slight buildup.
So maybe another layer of asphalt
Yes,
there,
maybe
or-
another layer of asphalt or concrete, kind of whichever may be cheaper at the time. And I think, from my understanding, talking with the group, is that it would be kind of sloped at an angle, like where you're backing in, like a small incline.
Okay. And right now, you're saying you're not sure if you're gonna use a 2-bay or 3-bay. so-
Right, some of that's gonna be price.
Yeah.
Yeah, so some of that is gonna be, price we went with 3 because the original was for the carport to be a 3-bay carport. But now that we got that grant, we are just trying to expand, and that's why you can see in that building, the kind of design would be have a little extra area that's could be used for some storage.
Okay. In case y'all would like to see, this is a mock-up picture that he'd given us. I know you're not being able to see that, but, looks really nice. Thank you, Chief, for bringing that to us. At this time, I'll entertain a motion on, consideration of approval to construct a prefabricated garage.
I make a motion for approval to construct a prefabricated garage for the fire department with a projected cost of $60,000.
A second?
Okay. So we have first, second. Do I hear, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimous.
Thank you. We'll
sir.
start working on the scope paperwork this week.
Yes, sir. Okay, council, next up is Veterans Memorial Improvements. I think, Mr. Ben Marion, you have that?
All right, Mayor and Council, so back in the fall of 2021, we met over at the Veterans Memorial, looked at doing, getting that back up and operational, which we did. And it's ran fairly well since then. In 2021, we gave a couple of different options to council to look at how to fix that. And one of the options that we had actually thrown out was to take the top bowl and fill it in and make it a planter, basically. What we're asking now is to go back and revisit that idea. The water that runs over the granite stains the granite. It leaves a lot of residue. It's basically all the work we had done to polish and clean that granite is now gone because it's got water running over it all the time. And anything that's got water running over it all the time is going to get damaged at some point. The other thing that I will throw out to that is that the pump that feeds that top bowl is the biggest issue that we've had since 2021. There's 5 pumps in the bottom bowl. I think each one of those, I think we may have replaced 2 of those. That one pump that feeds the top bowl, I know has been replaced like 5 or 6 times. So for whatever reason, it has a hard time to try to keep that water going up there. Also, that granite is unlevel, and so the water doesn't flow over it evenly. If you ever go up there and see it, you'll see parts of the water running over the granite and parts of it it's not. It's just because the granite's unlevel. We could level that granite up. It's a real act of Congress to be able to do that, to take that apart, and I don't know that anybody wants to get into taking their granite apart and then putting it back together and trying to get it level. So this is the solution we come up with to kind of fix that problem. Basically what we would do is take all the plumbing that's inside the top bowl out. It's got a drain to drain it out. We would just put a grate over it, and then we'd put wash stone in there, put soil in there, and then put whatever shrubbery based off of what an expert would tell us, and then put some kind of decorative stone cover over it to make it look nice and pretty. We put annual flowers in there so you could change the colors up depending on the season. If you wanted to do for July 4th, if you wanted to plant red, white, and blue flowers, you could do that. And then, of course, as it rains, catches in the top bowl, it'll filter through the soil, it'll filter through the rock, and then out the drain. So it'll never hold water there. And so that's basically what we were looking at going with. I've actually had on here for the budgetary impacts that to have the granite polished and repainted. I got that quote about 15 minutes before we come into council, and that 15,000 is not right. Carroll Memorials just throwed out a number, and he said he was thinking somewhere around 22,000. So what we looked at too, before I come in here, was the staff could probably polish that granite as well, and we could do it a lot cheaper. We could probably do it for like $2,000, but not repainting the lettering. Just leave it like it is. I think that will clean it up. The way the inset of the lettering is, that you could, the granite polished with the inset of the names, you'll see that difference without them being painted. Of course, anything that's painted is going to fade, and you're going to have to repaint it every so often. So this would eliminate a lot of that issue, though, because you don't have any water overflowing it. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions you guys may have.
So you had two quotes on here. One was clean and polished granite, repainting letters, and then seal it for, well, you're saying now
22,500.
All right, then you had clean and polished granite, and then seal the granite. Did he give you a price on doing it that way?
He did not. He did not. I'm waiting on a quote now from him.
Okay.
Just to do that portion.
All right, if staff was to clean it, and can they seal it?
Yes.
Can you seal the granite
Yes.
yourself also?
Yes, we can. We can clean it, polish it, and then seal it.
Okay, council, I'll open it up for questions. Mr. Lane?
Do we feel like we have enough experience with the staff of doing this that it would look nice in the end as far as the polishing the granite and
Yes.
things?
Yes.
Okay.
And the other thing I'll mention to that too is we're just trying to get this, because, you know, we always open it up before Memorial Day. And we have, so we just want to make sure we're trying to get our ducks in a row to have enough time to get this thing cleaned up and operational before Memorial Day. So that's why we're starting in March.
Council Lathrop?
I have mixed emotions about filling that top with plants. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. I don't wanna really do that. So you're saying that the pump that feeds the top bowl is the largest and costs the most. We spent the most money on that?
We've just replaced that. So, I mean, it is a bigger pump.
How many times have we replaced it?
5.
How much did that cost, do you know?
$100 a time. I mean,
$100
yeah,
a time?
yeah. The pump itself is not expensive when you base it in comparison to pumps, but it's just that one's gone out more than any of the rest of them.
So this $22,000, is that for the number one to paint it too, or is that?
Yes.
Okay. So you all suggested painting it. I didn't go look at it. Does it need it? I mean, people are complaining about that, I think, or they were.
Yeah,
It needed to be painted, so.
in spring of '22, Carroll Memorials went in and repainted every letter and every emblem of all the Air Force, Marines, Navy, all the SEALs in there. I mean, it was a very delicate
And when was
weeks.
that? That was in what?
That was in spring of '22.
Spring of '22?
Yeah.
And so did they seal it and do all those things?
They
to it?
sealed it, but with the water running over it all the time, it washed that seal off pretty quick. Yeah. It's like wax on a car. I mean, if you can wax a car, and it's gonna last for a little bit, but eventually the wax is gonna wear off.
I don't have any more questions.
Okay, Councilman Bowles?
I'm assuming, so our staff would be able to sell it and polish it if we were to continue. I'm assuming they wouldn't be able to paint it though, correct?
I don't know that that's a challenge we would be willing to take.
And that's fine. My question is, if we, let's say we did go back and have it repainted and kept the water, because I know I'm not fully, been a part of these discussions. I'm new to these, but I over the years, heard the top bowl was a point of contention with the water running over it and whatnot. My question is with that is if we sealed it more often ourselves, could that extend the life of that paint work a little longer?
So when you're sealing it, you're sealing the granite, not the paint. It's hard. It's almost impossible to seal that paint inside of those letterings.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean,
if we, okay. And then I did have one other question. Go to Jane. I'm pondering.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem,
Well,
I'll come back to you.
I guess I'm concerned too about putting, shrubbery, bushes, and flowers in the top part of that. We don't have a gardener on staff, unless we could get a commitment from King Beautification Committee. I don't want it to be just there and, have dead flowers or dead bushes or whatever in it. I think that would be worse than what's going on now. So do you have any suggestions on that?
so we were going to meet with a local shrubbery. Mitchell's Nursery would be the one
Yeah,
that we could think
I
of right
read
here in
that.
town. And they would give us their expert opinion on what we can plant in there that will last and maintain.
And
'cause
be
there's certain,
ongoing and not be, flowers have to have maintenance and,
yes.
Now,
Staff would maintain them.
Elisha could do a lot, but he can't.
Yeah, staff would maintain them.
Yeah,
But we would get our recommendations from what needs to be planted from an expert and when to trim them and things like that.
and watering, if we have a dry spell and so forth, when will that will happen,
We'll have to get city staff to water it,
equipment
but I
to
mean,
do
somebody's
that.
checking that, at least daily. They're checking the Veterans Memorial daily. So, I mean, they'll be able to see if that thing if they need water,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? They'll know if it's been a week without rain to go out there and, water that.
ideally, it would be very beautiful, but we've got to make sure that we can keep it long-term looking good. I don't want to do anything that, we got to take all the stuff out of it and restart it and do it again. If we can maintain it and it looks nice continually,
we're looking at it from a maintenance standpoint, that it's just a lot easier upkeep is what we're after.
I think that's all my questions.
Councilman Bowles?
Yeah, so I thought of my question is, I know you mentioned that the chlorine is a significant factor in the milking of the face of that granite. Is there potentially another chemical that could be used that could do slightly less
So it's
damage?
fed, it's fed from city water, so I mean, city water's got chlorine in it.
Okay. So there's no extra treatment in that water to, okay.
I have one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
So with what you're recommending now that our employees take over doing it, the figures here that you've quoted aren't exactly correct. Could we get those
Yeah, you're looking at about $2,000
to do everything?
for the staff to polish the granite plus the $500 for the, stone, for the wash stone and the plants.
So,
$2,500.
and then we've got the, shrubbery or whatever kind of vegetation you're gonna put in
That
there.
$500 included the shrubbery.
$500.
Yeah, you're not talking about a lot of shrubbery.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pentagon, so it's got five sides, so we were talking about 5 plants. And some
Okay.
flowers.
Yeah, I remember that, but I didn't know, you mentioned something about flowering plants. There might be
Yeah.
some red, yeah, or
You
white.
change those out, you know, you're talking about very minimum cost there. You know, I think a flat of flowers is $30.
And we have someone on staff that can plan and maintain it.
Yes.
And I have one last question.
Yes, sir.
Sorry. The engravings that are painted on there, I haven't been over there in a little while, and so, what are those again? What are those, the engravings? Are those names? Are they,
They are.
okay,
Yeah, they're names for the people who have died
okay.
in
And
wars.
how many names? Is it a lot?
It is. It's on all 5 sides.
Okay.
I think there's one section on one side that hadn't been filled in completely yet.
Okay.
Any other questions over here?
I don't think so.
When I first read this, I thought, wow, I'm not sure about this. Then I envisioned, I guess I'm more a visionary person than, if you go down Rural Hall in the summer and you notice the baskets right there on the corner of 65 and how they drape down and they're beautiful blooms and, you know, they got the running vines that come down. I mean, I could envision something like that, maybe. Of course, I know Mitchell's would be an expert to advise us on that.
I'll give you this little tidbit of information too. Back in 21, when we started talking about this, that was one of the options that we had pitched to council. I met with Jim Mitchell over there, and he gave me an idea. And like I said, I'm going by 3 years ago, but he gave me some ideas of some of the shrubbery and things like that at that point. And it was, I mean, they're drought resistant shrubs. I mean, no shrubbery is going to live without water, but you know, it could go many weeks without having water. So, you know, I mean, they're very good at what they do.
And that top bowl has got its own separate drain.
It does.
So you wouldn't have to worry about any of that getting into the bottom pool.
No. You know, the biggest thing we were worried about is if it getting water in there and then not getting out and it being stagnant. You get mosquitoes and things like that, but it'll drain out. That's what the first.
So we're looking at, we did this in the spring of '22, so we're looking at 2 years ago. And now we're looking at investing another $22,000 just to get it back like it was then.
The cleaning.
Right.
Yeah.
How often do we run those pumps? I know in the wintertime, we do not run them at all.
They run from Memorial Day to Veterans Day.
Memorial Day.
Every day from Memorial Day to Veterans Day.
And it's only lasted 2 years, basically.
The pumps are still in service.
I mean, as far as the looks, the granite and everything.
The
So
granite,
You're
yeah.
looking at approximately every 2 years if we continue doing what we're doing now,
With the water running over it, yes.
with the water running over. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any reason why the city staff didn't go ahead and seal it when you noticed that it maybe needed it? And we're just now talking
That's a
about
good
it?
question. So, you know, realistically, it only lasted about 6 months when Carroll Memorial done it the last time.
But we didn't do anything about it?
We pressure washed it, you know? I mean, that's about as much as we done.
The pressure wash, wouldn't that be rough on that paint, those letters? Wouldn't that be?
No, the lettering was already gone by that point. We just pressure washed it, just the granite portion of it. So.
Okay, that's all. I don't have any more
So
questions.
the
about
letters
this.
were about 6 months. The letters were.
Yeah.
I have one more question on that.
Yes, sir.
How would that affect, if we were to put plants up there, how would that affect the flow of the water? I mean, would water continue to run over the sides? What would we do to prevent
No,
it?
the only thing you're gonna have water in is on the bottom bowl.
Okay, so with it being a bowl, I guess we'd come below the top so water can't go over the edge. I guess I've never been up there, so I don't really know if water's running over, I mean, up top. I mean, I've been to the
Right.
fountain, but, you know, so water runs over the top now. How would we prevent that from happening? Obviously, we wouldn't want, you know, the water to run over the edge.
Yeah, you can just cut the pump off.
Turn the pump off.
Cut the
Okay,
pump off and you ain't gonna feel no water up there.
okay.
Yeah. It feeds from the bottom bowl. It pulls water from the bottom bowl to the top bowl. That's all that pump does.
Okay, so it's
Yeah.
not just flat up there.
No, and it just recirculates it. So as it overflows, it comes back down to the bottom bowl and it just sucks it back up. It just makes a continuous
Okay,
circle.
I got you.
So what I'm envisioning, the top bowl, you just take everything out, you put a screen or something over the drain so that doesn't get stopped up.
Yep.
You put some gravel or white rock or whatever, river rock or whatever up through there. Then you'd put your soil on top of that. And then maybe some rock or whatever in the top.
Decorative something, yeah.
Decorative with, your plants up there.
We were
It'd
thinking
be
about
below
doing like the
below
white.
the top of the bowl so it doesn't run over.
Yep.
It would just drain out the bottom.
Yep.
It wouldn't stand, wouldn't be stagnant.
Yeah,
no
we thought about doing
mosquitoes.
something like a white rock or a river rock or something like that. If you do mulch or pine needles, you have to replace it every year. You know,
Right.
the white rock's gonna last. So,
Yeah, plus, okay.
If we kept the water, and we're able to get everything polished back out and, you know, just get it all back in shape, have we ever considered any kind of maybe some, I know it would be a larger initial cost, but long-term, like brass inserts or some kind of metal insignias to replace what's there so we aren't having to repaint every 2 years? I mean, that would be a much longer-term solution.
you could look at that. I mean, but you're talking about it's gonna have to be perfect to that edge of that granite. And I'm not saying anybody can't do that. I'm just saying I don't know what that cost would be.
Yeah, and I know, again, I know it would be a higher initial cost, but we wouldn't have to have a $22,000.
Yeah, but you're still gonna have to polish granite every year or every 2 years. You know, even with the brass inlays. And the chlorine eats the brass up. I mean, that's what happened with the old fountain, and that's, I mean, you can go up there now and see some of the brass inserts in there now, and it's just eat them up.
And I'm not dedicated to brass.
Right.
just, yeah.
I've got one question. If we were to do what you're saying, and, how much trouble is it if we wanted to go back to putting water up there? I mean, how deep is that bowl?
2 foot,
As tall as you?
2 foot.
2 foot.
Yeah, it's not very deep.
Okay, so I've never been up on top and looked at
Yeah,
it.
about 2
What
foot
I'm,
deep.
what I'm envisioning possibly, council, is let them try to do that and see how it looks. How much you think you'd invest in just doing that top bowl?
And just doing
Yes.
this,
Right,
$2,500.
$2,500. All right, then
If it
what
doesn't
about,
work after Veterans Day, we could pull it back out. I mean, we pull the media back out, you know what I'm saying, the shrubs and the media. You'd be out $2,500.
well, you wouldn't be out 25 because you already sealed the granite and all that stuff.
Right,
You'd be out of what you put in the top bowl,
$500.
$500. So you'd be out of $500,
The
basically.
gravel, the dirt, and the shrubbery.
As a trial, what I'm thinking is as a trial to see what it would look like, how it would function. Okay, that's just something I'm thinking of there, so. Okay, council, anybody have any other questions? Okay, I'll entertain a motion at this point.
I like the idea of a trial there, so I would make a motion to approve moving forward with the Veterans Memorial improvements with staff doing the cleanup of the granite and the ceiling and the planters up top.
Councilman Lane, would you add not to exceed, excuse me, not to exceed $2,500 to your
Yes,
motion?
yes, not to exceed $2,500.
I'll second it.
Okay, so we've got a motion and a second. Do I hear a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, so it carries 3-1. My main concern with that is the feedback we're gonna get from veterans. I know what Mayor Warren would say, but he was a veteran. But Councilman, I do like the idea of a trial thing, so if we catch enough too much flack, we can always go back to what we were doing. If it looks beautiful and everything, then $2,500 we've saved. So, carries unanimous.
Yeah, 3-1. 3-1.
No, three, yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, carries 3-1. Thank you. Ben?
He's up for the next one too.
I'm sorry. Yeah, we'll just let you stay up here. All right, he's got to get his paperwork. Okay, this next one is Recreation Ball Field number 7.
All right, so you get me again. So Recreation Acres Ball Field number 7. First off, I want to just give you an email that I got this morning from Gina Calloway from King Little League. Just spoke with Justin Frazier, and he said that they had great numbers for the spring. They have 400 kids signed up, which is 50 more kids from last spring. They will have 10 T-ball teams, 100 kids, 3 coach pitch teams, 3 minor teams, 3 major teams, and for the first time in almost 5 years, 3 senior age teams, 13, 14, and 15-year-old boys. And all these are baseball teams. He said numbers for girls softball were also up as well. Wow. So that's very good. So when we met with King Little League, me and Gina did, right after our last council meeting, to discuss a few things with them. And one of the things that they requested was Field 4. When we had the lights replaced on all the fields at Recreation Acres, we pulled the lights off and poles off of Field 4. And they were tabled to look at a different time, at the budget time. With the park getting ready to start booming, and it's go up there tonight, they're all practicing tonight. The senior team can only play on Field 4, and so that's the field that has no lights. So King Little League's solution to that was to move the fence on Field 7 back to its original location, which would provide a dual-purpose field. A dual-purpose field meaning that the T-ball teams all the way up through the senior teams can play on that field, and it is lit. The cost to do that, to move that, you're looking at about $13,255. It was moved back in 2016, I believe, to create a T-ball major team. And so now we're just asking to move that fence back out, just to provide a dual-purpose field. We actually did get 2 quotes for this. The 2 quotes, I got one right before we come into this meeting, was $14,200 from Nicholson, and then you got one for $13,255 from Yance. Along with that, Field 2 and Field 8, Field 2 and Field 8 are the T-ball fields. Little League would like to enclose those, the outfields, which is right there behind the park, behind the playground. And so that way they're not having kids from the playground that are going to the concession stands to use the restroom to be going through during a game. And so that was one of the things we had discussed. The kind of way we worked this out was that Little League would pay for Fields 2 to have that fence done and Field 8 to have that fence done, and see if the city of King would pay for the Field 7 fence to be moved back out. Make sure I'm not missing anything. And that would give us lights again, like on Field 7, so we would have lights on this dual-purpose field. So that's really all I have. I'll open it up to any questions you guys may have.
Okay. Councilman Bell.
So were the quotes, like, did you put out a request for proposal for this? Like, are they the same, the bids, are they bidding on the exact same thing?
Yes.
They are?
Yes, they bid on the exact same thing. We called Yance originally because he was the one who moved the fence on field 7 from the out where it was located to the inside where it's located at now
In 2016?
in 2016. And so we just moved well forward with them because they figured they know better than anybody else what was going on. So they gave us a price based off of that, and then we took that same dimensions and sent it to others, and that's the other quote we got back.
Okay, so do you have any idea who Little League is using for Field 2 and Field 8?
Nicholson. I think they're going to try to get a price from Nicholson Fencing.
Would it be cheaper if we all use the same person?
I don't know that. We actually gave them a quote from Yance, and they asked if they could go through Nicholson because he would do it as a donation. And we said, who you get, really, that's not our money, that's your money.
Did
So,
we ask him for a donation?
we did not.
Wonder why they are, and, do you know anything about that?
No, have no clue. They just asked if they could use somebody besides Yance, and we said, yeah, you can use whoever you want to.
I just wondered if it would be cheaper if we used the same people. I don't know.
Yeah, I would think it,
I'd like to know that.
I would too.
That's what we figured too.
Who?
Nicholson.
Why do you think that?
But if you gave him a,
They did have the same scope, so they both did the same thing.
Let me ask you one more question. I want to know, so we took those lights down, and I remember we couldn't put them back because it was going to be so expensive. How much is it? Do you remember?
For Field 4?
Yeah.
$187,000 was the last price, and that was when we done the light, so I'm sure it's gone up since then.
Okay.
And of
So I'm
course,
guessing, what do they do? Just either play in the daytime there, or?
they practice and play in the daytime, and then when it starts to get dark, they get off that field.
Okay. And we have 3 senior boys teams this time.
Hmm. Plus other organizations that use it as well.
right.
I believe Calvary practices on that field as well. So.
Okay, I don't have any more questions.
Mr. Lane?
No, I think you've given us a good explanation on it for sure.
We'll be gaining an hour of daylight come Sunday, so that'll help a little bit. So, Councilman Bolt?
I was not privy to these conversations as well. I was wondering, the move from making the field smaller on field 7, and then now making it larger. Does that affect it anyway, and how it can be used negatively, or is it only positive?
No, according to Little League, they said that they really didn't understand why the field got moved in the first place.
Okay.
But, so, no.
Okay.
And once it moves back to its original location, we wouldn't touch it again. So,
Council Lee?
I guess I misunderstood something. Field 2 is the one behind the playground. Is that correct?
there's 2 fields behind the playground, Field 2 and Field 8. Field 8 is the newest one.
The newest one?
Mhm.
Okay, so are they gonna put the fence up there?
They're going to put a fence in the outfield of Field 8 and Field 2.
And Field 2?
Yes.
So the kids won't run through? Okay.
Correct.
Okay, so the Little League is gonna do that?
Yes.
So the only thing that we are responsible for is Field 7 moving the fence?
Correct. With your permission. That's why we mentioned Field 2 and Field 8, is
So
with your
is the
guys'
Little League
permission to put the field.
asking for us to move the fence? Because
Yes.
they need that to happen?
Yes.
Um,
To allow the seniors to play.
So we have, how many seniors signed up? We're gonna have seniors this year?
3 teams.
3 teams?
3 teams, yep.
So they need that field. They need that fence moved back, right? Mm-hmm.
To be able to play at night.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes,
Yeah.
but just because of the lights.
Yeah,
Can I ask
Yeah.
a question on the lighting? Is that okay? Yeah. I remember the $187,000 difference. I remember the long night of discussion on lights. And, but that, I think, was that the price before we went with the final solution that we went with? And I think when with the second company, things went significantly lower.
Yes. That was
Um,
the second company. That was Carolina Lighting and Signs, price of
So the 187 was them?
Yes,
Okay, so it was initially a greater difference than that.
quite a bit more.
Okay. All
Yes,
right, I remember the discussion there, but I
Yep.
couldn't remember the details.
Yep.
Hey, Council,
And that field had the most lights on it as well. I think it had 8 poles instead, and everything else has 6 or
okay.
less.
Okay, we'll come back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so, to finish what I was asking, so, which one is field 7? The one behind the, concession stand?
The old men's softball field.
Yeah.
Oh, the old men's
Yes.
softball field, okay. I just wanted to get clear on
Yep.
that.
Nope. Yep.
Thank you, Scott. And I know where that is, if you would call it that, but, yeah.
He said it was the old men's or the old men.
The old men.
That's where I get to play, I guess. Okay.
Thank you.
I would like to see you get a quote from Nicholston or some other person on both fields. I think you said you only got the one quote, on the one that we would be looking at funding, correct?
Yes. No, I've got just field 7 quote from Nicholston and field 7 quote from Yance. And then I have a quote from Yance for field 2. Yes, yes.
What I'd like to see if, get them, several different people quote both, and maybe they will give us a discount by doing all of it. Instead of just doing one, and then they know somebody else is gonna do the other one. They may come in with a better price if we say, well, we wanna get you to, let them know we're getting another bid from somebody else too, and it never hurts to ask if they wanna donate something. I mean, that's my recommendation, but, Okay, council, I'll entertain a motion on Recreation Acres Ball Fields.
I'll make a motion to approve, moving forward with ball field 7 fence after speaking to Nicholson Fencing again and seeing if there is anything that can be worked out. If not, you could let us know.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
So they told you that they are going to get a quote from Nicholston, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, we're
They don't
assuming
have it yet.
last time we talked, we had not had it. What we were trying to do was get this done before April 6th, before opening day of the King Little League.
You were trying to get the
The
fence
the
moved
fence
back,
is moved back.
and you were trying to get them to,
We were going to
fence
get
around those other two
Field 7 taken care of before, we were going to try to get Field 7 taken care of before April 6th. Now, what King Little League does with Fields 2 and 8,
Well-
we would love to get it all done at one
Well,
time.
for safety reasons, they should.
Oh, I agree,
go ahead and
100%.
Block those off because of those kids coming from the playground, because I've been there before and I've seen them just walk right,
They do,
because they're by
Oh,
themselves,
right.
there's nobody watching.
right through the
them.
bases.
And so they've had to stop the game to
Mm-hmm.
let them go through there. So if we're in a hurry to do it, they should be in a hurry to do it too.
Yeah, I agree.
So, okay, so let's ask another question. to
Yes,
Scott.
yes, ma'am.
So, if we were okay with doing these things, but we wanted to get that other price, can you, poll us to get the vote or not after this? Cause we've done that before.
That's why I say get back in
Yeah,
touch.
so I would, yeah, yeah.
Second.
So we've got a motion.
I'll second.
Second. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That carries unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Marion. So we'll move on. Ben, you're on this this next one too, aren't you?
We need to get you one of those little clicker things, don't we? They're not very expensive. Get yourself one.
I actually got one over there, I just ain't got it hooked up. I got one over there, I just ain't got it hooked up yet.
Okay.
So, King Little League contracts, since we're on the recreation acres. I told you that me and Gina sat down right after the last council meeting, so the 1st of February, and met with King Little League about the contracts. There are 2 contracts. One for the actual King Little League, which we've had since 2003, I believe. And then we have another contract that was created in 2020, and that contract basically is for the City of King tournaments that we hold, letting them own and operate the concession stands. And then we make a split on the profits for that. That seems to work out pretty well. So the first contract we'll talk about is the Recreation Acres, just a Little League contract. Basically, we just made very few changes to this, the biggest one being that the old contract stated for 20 years that King Little League would operate the concession stands, and then but the City of King owned the concession stand and everything of all of its contents within it. But if something messed up, King Little League had to pay for that. They would also have to do maintenance to the building, not maintenance, but they would have to keep the building cleaned, bathrooms, things like that during their events. That doesn't always happen. I mean, I know it's a great gesture and thought, but it doesn't always happen. And then they kept 100% of their profits. They paid for the power for the lights that they used on whatever field, and they paid for the propane that fed the concession stands. In our new contract, basically what we are asking is that this be much like a landlord-tenant kind of contract where the City of King owns the concession stand and we own everything inside of it, and therefore we maintain everything inside of it. But we have to be able to collect rent, and so we would do a split of 80-20. King Little League keeping 80%, and we would keep 20% of their profits during the Little League seasons. And then we maintain everything inside of the building and everything inside of it other than power and propane. And they would still continue to pay us power and propane. We would maintain the bathrooms, keeping them clean. We maintain all the fryers, all the refrigerators, sinks, all that fun stuff. Which we basically already do anyways. So I know last year maybe, I think they come to us about replacing something. I think was it a fryer or it was a refrigerator? I can't remember. Anyways, they asked us to because they wanted to go in half with it, but technically according to the old contract, they were supposed to pay for it because that's what the contract says. So to eliminate all that, we would just take care of that stuff ourselves. We got 2 new fryers that actually were delivered today because the fryers were 20 years old, 22 years old, I believe, and have seen their better life. So we're getting ready to install those sometime this week. So that's the first contract, and that's really the only changes that we would get a profit from their profits of 20%, and then we would maintain everything inside the building. The second contract is basically unchanged. It says that they have the right to operate the concession stands during city-held tournaments, which we have lined up for June, July, and August, and I think one in September. So during the seasons that they're not playing, and that split is 75-25. So they get 75% of the profits. We keep our 25% for letting them use our building and our equipment.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So, the 75-25 you said is for, the tournaments.
Correct.
And does one of our staff members have to be on the premises at that time?
Don't think so.
Have they been in the past?
No.
Who won't know that? Why don't you know that?
What, if one of our staff members is on? No, I mean,
Okay, I know why, I just don't act.
Right.
Okay, so, let me see. So then during their season, it's 80-20.
Correct.
Okay. It used to be 75-25?
No, it was 75-25 for all tournaments. And then with the
tournament,
King
okay.
Little League, they kept 100% of the profits.
Okay, so do they know about this?
Yes.
And y'all talked about
Yes.
this? And they said?
They were great with
Okay.
it. They were actually ecstatic.
Okay.
Yep.
And at any time when this concession stand's open, we don't have to have any staff members there.
No.
And if something happens and something's wrong, they're gonna call
They have a contact. We'll have somebody on call that they will have a cell phone to get in touch
when
with them.
they're there.
Yep.
Okay, good.
And we can get there. I hope it doesn't happen, but let's say a toilet gets clogged or something like that, they can call, we'll have a staff member come out and get that toilet unclogged.
Okay.
So, or
And who
call
would you,
somebody.
so while they're there, if we don't have a staff member there, and those trash cans are running over, are they supposed to be
Trash
emptying
cans
those?
at the concession stands?
Yeah,
Yes, they will take care of the ones. That's it, is in the contract. They will take care of the trash cans.
okay.
They're gonna take care of the trash cans and anything that they damage. So if they break the glass out of the refrigerator, they'll have to replace that.
Okay.
But if the refrigerator fails, the compressor goes out, that's on us. Question?
Yes, sir.
Has our attorney reviewed the contract?
I've looked at the 80-20 one.
Okay.
The question that I had was the difference between the split of the profit relative.
Okay.
The tournament contract is the same. I mean, we just wanted y'all to see it because just the updated version. It's just basically updated dates on it. But it's the same thing since 2020.
Yeah, we do. Okay.
Okay. It says here, number 8, cleanliness of the facility and concession area. The organization, which is King Little League, agrees to that after each of its events, it will clean the facility to ensure it's rid of trash and litter.
It's the 80-20 contract, but not in the 70-25 contract.
Talking about the 80-20 contract.
Just put the cleanup in also in the 70.
Oh, okay, and put it in the 75-25. Okay, gotcha.
Mr. Mayor, I have a
Yes, sir.
question.
Yes, sir.
On so just so I'm fully understanding, that we will be taking over all cleaning duties of the bathroom facilities and any maintenance that is needed, other than broken stuff, but
Yes.
any maintenance that is needed. Will that do we foresee that 20% will cover us, to?
That's a loaded question.
Yeah.
We, for the most part, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I just.
I mean,
almost have to take
I'm not
on
going to guarantee you that the refrigerator and two
Right.
fryers are going to go out the same year and then you're, in the hole. But we're hoping that everything has just been inspected. Like I said, two new fryers. I know the grill has just been inspected along with the refrigerator and all the suppression system and everything passed with flying colors. So everything should be ready to rock and roll.
Yes, ma'am.
One question, what is your projected revenue?
I have no clue.
You have no clue?
No,
Why?
I couldn't even begin because I haven't even seen the financials from what they were supposed to be doing. When, in the old contract, they were supposed to be giving us financials. I've never seen those. So
So we don't know what the projected revenue is.
we asked King Little League about that and they still haven't
They
got
need
us.
to let us know that.
Is it in this contract? that
It
you
says
guys
that they're
do?
supposed to provide those
Just a
financials.
percentage, but yeah. Pardon?
It's been several years since we got their money.
Um,
Last time we got them, it was a pretty significant profit at the concession stand.
so how much did we receive last year? 25%.
Wasn't doing that.
We wasn't,
We
oh, you were
wasn't-
talking about the tournaments.
Yeah, the
Couldn't-
tournament.
yeah, I don't know. Don't know that. Right off the top of my head, I don't know. I can get that in.
So how do we know we've gonna have enough, Tyler said to cover all the additional things that we're doing?
So King Little League has had a lot of turnover as well in their organization and who's running it. Justin Frazier, who we're dealing with now, said that, I believe he said last year that they profited, or they profited about 40,000-ish for the season. So you can, you know, I don't know if that's true. I haven't seen that handwritten anywhere in a document. I'm just telling you what he's told me, was they were right around 40,000.
So we probably shouldn't bank on that, cause that's just hearsay.
Yes,
No.
exactly.
So I'm full with that. So, okay, well, I mean, y'all are into trying stuff, maybe we should try it. You know?
I got a question. Y'all, everybody, y'all finished? You
I
got
do
another?
have one more question. Let's just say it is, 40,000. That 20%, that is out of the profit too, correct?
Yes.
Is that the net?
Out of King Little League.
The net profit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so, at that, that's if we get 20% of that, that's $8,000, and so that's one big fridge away from. I don't know what kind of equipment we're working with up there, but I know a commercial.
$3,200 for 2 fryers.
Okay.
3,200.
Okay.
So
Either way, we were receiving zero in the past,
100%.
and we were still providing equipment, so.
We were still providing equipment.
But they were doing the maintenance.
Yeah, they were doing the maintenance.
'Cause I remember they came and asked us, last year or year before, they came and asked for something.
They did. I don't remember what it was,
They
but I
were
remember them.
supposed to be responsible for the equipment, but.
Correct. Then they wanted us to split it with them, I believe. Best
So
I can
you've
remember.
looked at all the equipment up there, and the only two things really you needed to replace at this time is the 2 fryers.
And they were delivered today.
Is this for, I guess we can write down the length of this contract, be 1 year,
Yes, I think it's
so
usually.
we can do it as a trial for 1
We
year.
usually do it. We renew it every year. It's supposed to be renewed every year. Let's put it that way.
Not 20.
It's not a
Not
profit
20
this time.
years.
No.
Yeah,
We don't
okay.
wanna
Every
do a
year.
20-year
One year,
contract.
okay.
Not a
No.
profit this time, we can look at it
Okay.
again.
Yeah. I think that, yeah.
Any other
If
questions?
it's 1 year, yeah, I think that's good.
No question.
No questions. Any other questions here? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion, we approve the Little League contract and tournament contract for 1 year.
Have a motion, do I hear a second?
Second.
What?
Who was second first? Michael or
It
Tyler?
don't matter.
All right, okay.
You got 3 seconds.
Okay, I got a first, second, I'll entertain, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimous. Thank you,
Thank
council.
you.
All right, at this time we have departmental reports. Did the council have any questions or concerns about the departmental reports that you'd like to address?
I do not.
I do not.
Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to acknowledge the receipts of the departmental
I
reports.
make a motion, we acknowledge receipt of the departmental reports.
Second. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimous. Thank you, council. This time, we've got items of general concern. We'll start off with Mayor Pro Tem Cole.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to thank all our employees, the ones that are here and the ones that are not, for all you do to make the city of King, a wonderful place to live and work. I want to let you know that the Piedmont Triad Regional Council of Government has put out a brochure on the city of King, and I'm on that, appointed by this board. I'll share it with you guys. I only have one copy, but I will pass it down. And, it's really good, so I'm very proud of that. I just want you to know that. The other thing I want to talk about a little bit tonight is, I want to thank Scott and Nicole for getting us the copies of the Stokes County Commissioner's minutes that we requested. And I just want to talk a little bit about their meeting on February 12th. I wasn't present, but I watched it, and there were derogatory remarks made by 2 commissioners related to our King citizens and Stokes County residents. Yes, if you're a King citizen, you are still a Stokes County resident. when I heard negative things spoken about, when I hear negative things spoken about any of our citizens, I will defend them at all cost. It was inappropriate for Mr. Rick Morris to use 15 minutes or so to speak negatively of our school board chairman. If he wanted people to get out and vote against him or for him, he could have done that on his personal time. And for the chairman to try to reprimand our mayor for speaking in favor of the King Elementary School grant was very, very unprofessional and disrespectful to our mayor. I don't see why he needed to call him out. He also called the entire city population out, as he said, we come over to Danbury and speak longer than we should. Where is his respect for the citizens of Stokes County? These people are voted in to serve at our pleasure, not their own, just as I am, and I will continue to serve at the pleasure of the King citizens. Thank you for listening to me. I just had to get it out.
Thank you,
ma'am.
Jane.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilman Fowler.
Okay, so, you caught me off guard there.
We got them in
Jane,
order now.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yes,
Jane,
ma'am.
thank you for, bringing that thing that you got on the City of King. I would like to see that, and thank you for serving on the, PTRC. I know you're serving on something else too, but thank you for serving on that on our behalf. I appreciate that. And, I, just wanted to say that I appreciate the invite to the PD for the, swearing in of those 4 officers. That made my heart happy. We had 4 at one time and their families there, and those 2 little boys participating with their fathers. That was very touching. I appreciate that. And then I wanted to thank Gretchen and her staff for all putting up with and being so patient with all that foot traffic in and out of the library for the early voting times. I know that it was probably challenging and trying at times, and you would never admit that, I know, and neither would your staff, but I appreciate you all, hanging in there. I was up there a few times, and I appreciate that. Also, I was glad to receive, and I was proud when we received the letter from Wilson Smith, commenting on Corporal Roddy and Officer Keith, is that right? For assisting him. That was a very nice letter. I appreciate him taking the time to do that, and I'm sure you shared it with them, but that was great. And then, of course, the report that Paula gave, and as I've been traveling on the other side of the county recently, folks over there really, the citizens over there really appreciate the programs that you're bringing over there and all of those things, and they all sing the senior center's praises and yours, and so we appreciate that. And I appreciate all the other staff. The staff members are doing the work that you do in the city, and the way you represent us makes me proud, and I appreciate that. And I will continue to be praying for the safety of our first responders and everybody else. That's all I have.
All right, to echo what the Mayor Pro Tem said, your vote tomorrow is very important.
Amen.
So, consider the things that have been happening when you go to vote tomorrow. Also, just on a personal note, where I work at Calvary, we don't have a school resource officer, so we've been trying to work through a plan for crisis intervention and that sort of thing. And Officer Meadows has been incredibly helpful in that, and just very professional, came with a well-prepared plan, and has just been amazing through that process. So I just wanted to commend him because he's done a great job. So that was very helpful, and to be on the other side as the citizen, it was good to see how professional and how amazing he is as an employee. So just want to publicly mention that.
Can I say something? Are you done?
I'm done. Yep.
So what Michael said about Officer Will, what the kids call him, but anyway, he has done a wonderful job at King Elementary. He's just moved right in there. He knows every kid's name. He's so helpful to those teachers. He is really doing a great job. So we are really proud to have him there. I think he was a good hire, really good for there. Yes, he is. No, that's all, I'm done.
Okay, Councilman
Sorry.
Bowles.
I just want to say that I'm very, I am just once again honored to be here and serve our city. I'm still working around getting to talk to everybody that works here, and I appreciate anyone that I've spoke to at length about any questions I might have. I appreciate your patience with me as I get adjusted to this new role. But I'm just I'm working hard to make sure that I can do the best that I can for King. And so, anyways, I just want to say thank you to anybody that has kind of come alongside me and just help me through maybe some questions I might have had or whatnot. So thank you, and I'm looking forward to the future.
Amen. Well, I guess it comes down to me. First off, Fire Chief, I see where your public education, you're going into 4th grade, schools, fire and life safety. I see several of the elementary schools. A question there, do you go to Calvary Baptist or any of the other schools?
No, this is a long-standing tradition that was with the school system. Honestly, back to when Brad and myself, and some of you may remember Arthur Scott or Scotty, that we just continued this on. I mean, we would be more than welcome to go if they had the ability in their curriculum for this. But it's just been a long-standing partnership that's been with the school system back to when I was in school here.
I was just thinking, my daughter-in-law runs Living Word Christian Academy over on Newsome, and then also Calvary. When you engage 4th graders to help with fire and life safety, I'd like.
They reached out, I mean, this was something the school system reached out to us
It was part of their
about
curriculum. That's part of their curriculum.
Okay.
years ago. But I mean, we'd be glad to work with anybody else too.
Okay.
Anytime our school's reached out, they're always there for special days. They're great.
Read to your daughter-in-law, some of her classes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Also, Council Lady Fowler talked about the 2 police officers, and I would like to read to you in the public this letter that came in to the Mayor and Board of Commissioners, City of King on February 17th. I love to brag on our officers and our other staff. He said, "I'd like to commend 2 of your police officers for coming to my rescue on the night of Saturday, February 3rd, when my car braking system collapsed and when I was trying to return to Pilot Mountain. I was stopped on the exit ramp to King off of Highway 52 South. My car was stopped dead at the top of the ramp when Corporal Roddy and Officer Keefe arrived from behind my vehicle. I can imagine he was scared when he saw the lights, but they came to his rescue. They directed traffic away from my car and talked to me and remained with me until the tow truck from North End Towing arrived. I can't thank them enough for their service. They are a credit to your fine city and to all of us. They are gentlemen of the highest caliber and honor." And I can say that about all of our officers and our police and fire both. So I just wanted to read that to you. I'm not going to mention his name because I don't have his permission, but I thought that was a great letter. Commend the officers for that. And Paula, Hall, I'd like to thank you for the many things that you've done. I know you did Richard Brim of Stokes County Administration and Brandon Hooker and of Stokes Register of Deeds and Tori Mabe, Stokes Economic Development. I happened to be there for that meeting, 2025 proposed tax reappraisal and property scams and what's new around the economic development of the county. The great meeting. On February 22nd, our director presented at the King Rotary Club, which I'm a member of the Rotary Club, a charter member there, and the same day she also led 3 classes at Stokes Early College, highlighting dementia and Alzheimer's. Also commend you on the annual chicken stew, which was a very successful, sold out raised over $2,700. If y'all don't recognize Paula Hall as a superstar, she turn red if you want to, but she does a great job. Already scheduled 26 appointments for free tax preparation. Second, Cup Veterans Breakfast on Friday morning had its largest attendance in February with 37 veterans and partners on the 17th. And the remote sites that she's doing are thriving. So I just commend her on that. Also, all of the departments. Also, I'd like to, last but not least, thank Kathy Loveday and the Chamber for hosting the Candidates Forum. This Candidates Forum, the votes tomorrow will be decided in this election tomorrow. So anybody that's watching this, you need to go out and vote. Get out and vote, be an informed voter. You can go on the Chamber Facebook page and watch the forum of the candidates that's running, and I strongly suggest you to do that. Also, talking along the same lines as Council Lady Cole said, I was at that meeting and I was called out by Commissioner Chandler. I would like to personally apologize to you people and the people, because I represented King that night, and I went over 1 minute, 24 seconds. The only reason I went over is because I was adamant and I wanted to stand up for King Elementary School and King. I'm adamant about that. I know Commissioner Chandler is adamant about things that he brings up. I know he brings things up in the heat of the moment. I don't think he means that he wants to split the county. I really don't think he wants to do that, but he said that in his speech. But I would like personally tell him and whoever that I apologize as a man, and he has had several different occasions that he could apologize to our citizens. I represent almost 8,000 people in the city of King, but when they say you people from King, that represents anybody in the 27021 zip code. And I think he needs to apologize to our residents. He doesn't owe me an apology, but I think he needs to apologize publicly at his next meeting. He might be watching this. If he doesn't, I'm sure he'll hear about it. But I think if he's man enough to apologize, that will help mend things in this county. So with that, I will open it up to City Manager. Do you have anything? Okay. I'll open it up to the rest of staff. You have anything? Okay. All right, so at this point, I will entertain a motion to go into closed session. This closed session is for the purpose of attorney-client privileges per North Carolina Statute 143, 318.11A3, and then Michael, you can read yours number.
General Statute 143-318.11A5 for the acquisition of real property.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion. To go.
Second.
Okay, so Terry and then Jane. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, citizens and staff for being here. Appreciate everything.
I know it. They're crazy. They're crazy as that. Crazy. It's so bad.
Okay, we'll bring us back into session at 8:39, and no action was taken in closed session. I'll entertain a motion
So moved.
to adjourn. Who's first?
I made the
Terry, I
motion.
knew Terry would be first. Who's
James-
second?
Jane seconded.
Jane. All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Close